Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live from a news hub here to this hour in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Let's get into the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
The Judiciary and General Legal Council of Ghana asked not to act unconstitutional and stop the Ghana Law School entrance examinations.
Some fishermen from Ada East and West districts in the Greater Accra region battle government's task force on illegal fishing 3 months into operations. Meanwhile, over 120 arrested over illegal fishing activities in the Pram Pram area of the Greater Accra region.
Also in the bulletin, Ghana Bar Association says vigilantism poses a serious threat to the rule of law and charges government to restore order as the country marks 35 years after the killing of 3 justices and a retired army officer.
Coming up in business tonight, Ghana Revenue Authority says some Ghanaian small-scale businesses deliberately undercut taxes due to the state through poor record keeping.
And on the international front, alleged head of a kidnapping ring in Lagos, Nigeria, sues Inspector General of Police for unlawful detention and trial in the media.
With all these and more, plus sports and also some news in the world of business tonight here on News 360. Stay with us in the next 60 minutes. We'll bring you some more stories. So, first story this evening, where at least 8 people are feared missing after a boat in which they were traveling capsized in the reservoir of the Bui Hydro Dam on Friday. The 8 were said to be part of 33 who were traveling to the Jama market. Public Relations Manager at the Bui Port Authority, Cherry Lawson Adamo, is reported to have confirmed the accident which occurred near Accra town. The accident was reportedly caused by a faulty outboard motor. Reports also say a mechanic nearby attempted to send an outboard motor to assist the distressed boat, but was also involved in an accident while trying to assist. The Ghana Navy later dispatched men to rescue 25 people, but the whereabouts of the 8 others could not be established. The operations were still continuing with the hope of finding more people. We've been joined on the telephone by Sherry Lawson Adamu, who is the head of public corporate affairs at the Bui Port Authority. Ms. Adamu, thank you very much for your time this evening. Can you confirm to us the number of persons who have been confirmed dead, those rescued, and where they are now as we speak?
Yes, currently we cannot confirm anybody dead because we do not have the information from the Ghana Navy. What happened was immediately we had the information of the incident, we sent the Ghana Navy on the reservoir, and they were searching for any possible bodies in the incident. So we do not have information from them as it is now.
But madam, let's recall, what exactly does the preliminary investigations point to at the moment?
The information we had initially from the Ghana Navy was that this incident happened after midnight, and a canoe carrying market women from behind the reservoir, some settlements along the reservoir banks were trying to cross the reservoir to the Jama side, that is close to the Bui side, and had capsized. Apparently, the canoe was carrying market women and had a problem midway with their outboard motor. They called for help, and the help came with another outboard motor. But unfortunately, the winds were so strong that both of them capsized. So that was the incident that happened. And we had the information early in the morning. And immediately, the Navy was dispatched onto the reservoir.
I see. We also have reports that there was a mechanic who was trying to help those who were in this particular distress situation, but he was also involved in another accident.
Yes, the mechanic was in the second canoe that went to help with the first outboard motor that had gone bad.
But then that leads me up to the next question. Is it an accident-prone area? I mean, I'm talking about the reservoir of your authority. I'm talking about the Bui Hydro Dam. Is it an accident-prone area where, because, I mean, for two separate accidents to happen just about the same time, it raises concern? No, it is. We will not say it is an accident-prone area. We have never had any incidents on our reservoir since we started operations. This has never happened on the reservoir. This is the very first time we've had this incident. And this happened after midnight. And maybe the mechanic, the rainfall and the strong winds, they couldn't help it. That is why the two of them capsized at the same time. You can agree with me that they were huge outboard motors and they are trying on the river to change it, and anything could happen. So it is not an accident-prone area. Okay, but finally, this is your reservoir. I mean, the Bui Hydro Power Authority. This is the Bui, Power Authority. Yes. This is the reservoir for it's Bui your Power and this fishermen and market women were traveling at midnight. So what are you doing to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Yes, we normally have the Navy patrolling the lake most of the time. Most times, the Navy patrols the lake to ensure that these illegal activities do not go on the reservoir. That is the main reason why they were doing it after midnight, so that nobody would see them and stop them. Right. Madam, thank you very much, and we'll follow up with no more details. Cherry Lawson Adamo is a public relations officer of the Bui Power Authority.
But in other stories this evening, 121 fishermen from the Ada East and West districts have so far been arrested by the Pram Pram Task Force for using light fishing. 5 canoes, 17 outboard motors, 3 shotguns, cartridges and a number of generators have also been seized.
The arrest followed a clampdown on all forms of illegal fishing by the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture. The ministry formed a task force 2 months ago to ensure strict adherence to the ban on use of illegal fishing methods. A team of the task force based at Lower Pram Pram went into action in April and arrested 3 canoes and 70 crew. The task force also seized nets, generators, outboard motors and other gadgets, all of which were handed over to the Pram Pram District Police. 3 more persons were arrested, bringing the total number of arrests to 121. The last operation in the early hours of Monday, June 26, almost turned bloody.
We won't abandon the fight against them because God is in control. We will defeat them no matter the level of sophistication. We are prepared and ready to chase them any day, any time.
The chief fisherman of Lower Pram Pram, Nene Sose Kwashi, insisted they will persist until fishermen stop the use of illegal methods in fishing.
We are hungry and they continue to be feeding themselves. The sea is for all of us. Nobody should take advantage of any method in fishing to deplete the sea.
Fisher folks from Ada East and West, however, say they won't stop using illegal methods to fish, alleging that fishermen from Pram Pram also use illegal methods to fish and yet are not arrested.
The Pram Pram people are worse offenders. They use banned fishing nets, including the monophilia and rubber net. Yet, they are those spearheading the fight against illegal fishing in the ocean.
The Ningo Pram Pram District Chief Executive, Jonathan Tay Pani Doku, called for intersectoral approach to deal with the menace.
The committee was formed before I came to office, but it would have been proper that anytime they want to embark on any activity, we are informed, so we know exactly what is happening.
Meanwhile, the Pram Pram District Police has confirmed the arrest, but says all the suspects have been granted police inquiry bail pending further investigations.
Stay now. Some fishermen from Ada East and West districts in the Greater Accra region involved in light fishing have called on the Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry to withdraw the task force implementing a ban on light fishing. The fishermen told Peter Kwao Adato the activities of this task force have resulted in casualties at sea.
The Fisheries Amendment Act 2010, Act 880, bans all unauthorized fishing practices, including light fishing, the use of monofilar nets, dynamites, and other chemicals, among others. That notwithstanding, the implementation of the law remains a challenge. Fishermen continue to deplete fish stocks due to the use of illegal fishing methods. The Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Elizabeth Afolikwe, who began a vigorous campaign to stop the country's dwindling fish stock, seemed to be achieving very little results. Teams formed to check illegal practices are encountering difficulties at sea. There have been bloody clashes at sea, especially in the Adan area between fishermen and the task force. On Wednesday, June 28, some fishermen from the Adan East and West districts stormed Radio Adan, demanding the withdrawal of the task force.
We are trying to tell them that if they didn't withdraw them from their participation, then we too, being as a human being, when you are going to fishing so that you can fill your family and somebody is trying to destroy your work and your life, you can find somebody to rescue you.
They challenged the authority of the task force, arguing that it represents lawless vigilantism that cannot be distinguished from armed pirates. The group contended the state security agencies made up of the Marine Police and the Navy are well placed to police illegalities on the sea, hence no need to form a task force.
Because Navy, they are the security of Ghana, who patrol on the sea. But if the minister didn't call them that go and do this, they cannot go and do it.
Fishermen say they are aware of the new law banning the use of light in fishing, but want time to change to new and approved methods.
If anything at all, the minister should have given us time to phase out gradually. But this martial law tactics and militia approach isn't going to solve the problem. If they insist on that, then government would have to provide us food and all our needs. Anything short of that would mean that we will not compromise. We will continue to use the light in the fishing business.
Fishermen from the Adan East and West again wondered why the minister and the task force are only focused on fighting the use of light in fishing while allowing those engaged in other illegal practices to operate.
Away from the fishery sector, the plaintiff in the Ghana Law School case entrance exams ruling, Professor Kweku Asari, wants the Chief Justice to stop the impending law school entrance exams to avoid the judiciary and the General Legal Council backing unconstitutionally. Speaking at a lecture organized by the Media General Group in Accra, the law professor said anyone who has a Bachelor of Law degree automatically qualifies to be admitted into the law school.
The lecture was on the theme, Making Sense of Ghana's Supreme Court ruling on the admission criteria to professional law studies and other matters. Professor Kweku Asari argued the entrance exams and interviewing should not bar people from becoming professional lawyers. According to him, the examination is an unconstitutionality that has led to the disqualification of majority of students to gain admission into the Ghana School of Law.
We are sitting on a time bomb because every year they disqualify about 800 students. So if you start from 2012, you have 800 disqualified, 2013, 800, that is cumulatively you disqualify 1,600. If we don't address this problem, there will come a time when there are 10,000 LLB degree holders and something really bad may happen. Let's fix this problem now.
The KPMG Professor of Accounting wants the Chief Justice Sophia Akufu to call off the impending law school entrance examinations.
You should lead as the chairman of the General Legal Council and call off the impending examination, citing its unconstitutionality. If you are able to do this, you will instantly purge the council of its villain status and pave way for the reforms that are badly needed to find solutions to this crisis. Ms. Chief Justice, you must save your court and you must save the General Legal Council and I trust you will.
The law professor said the current intake of the school is not a problem of capacity, but one of strategy.
Consequentially, all law students should take all prescribed GLC courses at their law faculties, after which they can apply to take the bar examination administered by a reconstituted General Legal Council.
Some participants also shared their views on the issue.
We are praying that the Legal Council will make a better changes to the admission of the law students into the Ghana School of Law.
It's clearly shown that so far what had gone on was unconstitutional, which the Supreme Court has agreed. But in going forward, the recommendations that the Supreme Court made, he has got us to understand that there is an issue, and that issue needs to be corrected.
We have so many students who invested so much money into their legal education, and we believe they should be allowed to continue. And hopefully, based on the push of the students sending petitions, agitating for their interests to be well protected, hopefully something better will come out of it.
In 2015, Professor Asare filed a lawsuit against the General Legal Council and prayed the Supreme Court to declare as unconstitutional the entrance examinations and interview the Ghana School of Law employs to shortlist students. Earlier this month, the court ruled in favor of the professor and ordered the General Legal Council to implement the ruling in 6 months.
Well, meanwhile, a group calling itself Concerned Law Graduates Association has petitioned the Chief Justice and the General Legal Council. The petition is asking the Chief Justice and the Legal Council to cancel the impending examinations.
At a news conference in Accra, the petitioners were holders of bachelors of law degree from various universities and university colleges across the country expressed concerns about the General Legal Council's decision to use an entrance exam and an interview as admission procedures this year, contrary to the ruling of the Supreme Court on the matter. They described the act as an illegality and a violation of their rights.
We are of the considered opinion that our rights are being infringed because we are being asked to take part in an illegal act. That in the view of the uncertainty surrounding the decision of the Supreme Court, as far as we are concerned, we pray that the Council grant us automatic admission into the Ghana School of Law.
The petitioners are determined to explore all available legal options to have their concerns addressed.
We believe that there are other avenues that are open to us by going to court, ask for a review and also placing an injunction on the exam. That's also our constitutional right that we can pursue.
Professor Kweku Asare, a US-based Ghanaian lawyer, won a landmark case at the Supreme Court challenging the legality of the mode of admission used by the Ghana School of Law.
President Akufo-Addo has encouraged the Bureau of National Investigations to work to ensure the image of Ghana as a stable country is maintained. He was speaking at the annual Wasa of the Bureau in Accra.
I came here to encourage you to continue and enhance the capacity and the quality of your work. We are an open society today, Ghana, a free democratic state, operating an intelligence institution in the context of an open society and democracy is not an easy matter. You have always to be so careful about the boundaries, especially making sure that you apply due process and the rule of law to anybody who comes within your ambit. Sometimes you may think of it as shackles on you, but they are important shackles because ultimately, the freedom and the liberties and the rights of our people, that's what defines us. One thing that none of us should ever forget, there is a vast value in the image that we have around the world as a stable, indeed as the beacon of democracy on our continent. It has a value beyond the conception of many of us. And we should do everything in our power to make sure that that image of Ghana as a stable, functioning democracy is maintained.
You're still watching News 360 here on TV3. Still to come ahead of the bulletin.
Ghana Bar Association says vigilantism poses a serious threat to the rule of law and charges government to restore order as the country marks 35 years after the killing of the 3 justices and a retired army officer.
Also in business this evening, Ghana Revenue Authority says some Ghanaian small businesses deliberately undercut taxes due to the state through poor record keeping.
We have the details of these stories for you, as well as the very latest from the world of sports here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us.
A very good evening to you, and thanks for staying with us on News 360. Let's do some business now. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Government has communicated to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, its decision to extend the fund's program. Now, TV3 Business gathers the program would be extended to December 2018 instead of the initial completion date of March 2018. This is due to challenges in meeting most of the IMF targets before the completion date of March 2018. The extension also comes as a requirement as the IMF board meets next month to assess Ghana's performance under the program. Already, some analysts have welcomed the extension as it gives government room to meet some critical targets. And away from that, the Ghana Revenue Authority says about 80% of Ghanaian small businesses do not keep records. This, according to the authority, is undermining tax mobilization. This was disclosed at a tax education seminar organized by the Mataheko Small Tax Office in Accra.
A tax is a financial charge or a type of levy imposed on businesses by a state in order to fund various public expenditures. Section 72 of the tax law stipulates that a person who fails to maintain proper documents as required by a tax law is liable to pay for each month or part of a month during which the failure continues. This has been flouted by several companies, according to the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Around 80% of our small taxpayers, they don't keep proper records. When you go, 2 excuses. Either the documents are missing or I don't know where the accountant had those figures from.
The authority says inability to keep records, which is a legal requirement, affect revenue mobilization. Ghana Revenue Authority says poor record keeping is sometimes done deliberately to undercut taxes due the state.
Some of them know, but because they think that if they don't have the records and the officer do projection, it will go in their favor. They will end up not paying so much tax.
The Mataheko Small Tax Office Education Seminar is therefore aimed at bringing the people closer to the law.
At the moment, we are trying to formalize even the informal sector so that we can get a lot more people into the net. That is why we are also educating our taxpayers so that they will be aware of their civic responsibilities to the state.
Topics treated include record keeping, tax identification number, offences and penalties, and flat rate scheme, among others. Participants were also educated on employee monthly tax deductions, taxation of rent, withholding tax under the Income Tax Act 2015, Act 896, and tax relief systems.
Some of them don't even understand. They don't understand, but the problem we also have is that when you call them for tax education, once you mention tax, they think that when they come there, they are coming to pay, so they won't come at all.
The authority asked professionals to ensure companies keep proper records.
Now, Winfred Kweku Amenyoku emerged winner of 3FM's Business Pitch, the program which seeks to present entrepreneurs with a unique opportunity to showcase their business to the world, saw over 500 participants pitching their ideas.
The program, which spanned 13 weeks, saw 526 young professionals across Africa pitching their business ideas, which was downsized to 20 and then to the final 5. Participants were given a code to be voted for, accounting for 40%, with 60% coming from judges. Each participant was given 3 minutes to present their ideas. The chief executive of Beaumont Agroquatic Solutions, Winfred Kweku Amenyoku, emerged winner and walked away with $10,000 cash and market access. The board chair for Media General Group, Kojo Yanka, underscored the need to support entrepreneurs as a means to create jobs and grow the economy.
Instead of the airtime that we spend on unproductive issues on radio, on television, if we could spend more time to discover the talents we have in this country.
The chief executive of the Knowledge Channel Africa Limited, TKC Africa, hinted of plans to expand the project.
We want to be able to also look out to other partners out there and sponsors who are all in the space of engaging and supporting entrepreneurs, small-scale businesses.
And some other news, Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Sun Baoyong, says China will not impose projects on Ghana. Now, this is in response to the growing controversy after China made a $15 billion pledge to fund Ghana's massive economic transformation agenda.
Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia, after a 4-day official visit to China, negotiated some new economic agreements to transform Ghana's economic fortunes. A new financing model presented by the government of Ghana is seeking for partnership to fund its development agenda, leveraging on natural resources. Ghana has a proven reserve of about 2.8 billion metric tons of iron ore, 160 million metric tons of bauxite, 430 million metric tons of manganese, and 430 million metric tons of limestone. Responding to the controversies generated following the visit by Vice President Dr. Bawumia, the Chinese ambassador to Ghana says China will not impose any project on Ghana.
Chinese government, we have our own principles in implementing the projects in Ghana. Definitely, we listen very carefully to the demand of the Ghanaian side. If you do not demand that, we'll never give, and we'll never impose our will upon our friends.
According to the Chinese ambassador, people should be less pessimistic about the growing bilateral trade relations between the two countries.
I think the Vice President's visit to China is very successful. I think there are many layers of the success. I think people should establish more trust than doubts among themselves if they really want to do big things in cooperation.
Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Sun Baoyong, was less impressed by the attacks on her country following some donations made to several ministries, departments and agencies.
I think people should look at the overall picture. All these years with the involvement of the partnership of China, has Ghana benefited or not?
Meanwhile, the National Reform Commission of China has donated solar and energy-saving equipment worth 80 million cedis to the University of Energy and Natural Resources as part of efforts to enhance research and help Ghana combat climate change.
And in the Ashanti region, Heritage Bank is expanding its products and services in the northern parts of the country with the opening of a new branch at Swami Magazine in Kumasi. The branch is the first in Kumasi and the third in the country, less than 5 months into operations.
Heritage Bank, a wholly indigenous Ghanaian bank, commenced business operations in February this year. The bank aims at providing efficient and effective financial services to customers by adopting appropriate technology. In fulfillment of its policy of bringing refreshing banking services to the doorsteps of small and medium-scale businesses, the bank has opened a third branch at the Swami Magazine, the biggest industrial hub in Kumasi. The bank seeks to inculcate the culture of savings and promote microeconomic activities, whilst creating opportunities for the artisans and other businesses to access financial services offered by the bank. Managing Director of Heritage Bank, Patrick Edwin Fishen, noted the bank's products and services are market-driven, flexible, and tailor-made to meet the varied needs of the people.
Our products will be heavily influenced by the needs
of our customers. We will be coming up with tailored solutions, structured products in line with the needs of the customer.
The Asante Hene's representative, Amakum Hene Nana Edu Mensa Asari, commended the bank for its efforts to meet the needs of small and medium-scale enterprises. He urged management to continue supporting SMEs and expand its operations to other areas in the Kumasi metropolis. Assistant Director in charge of Banking Supervision at Bank of Ghana, Emmanuel Boache, noted the success of the bank depends on its ability to design tailor-made products that make banking easier for customers.
As our economy expands, demand for financial services from the corporate sector, households, individuals will increase correspondingly and thereby stimulate demand for new products and services to address the financial plight of customers.
Heritage Bank's entry into the banking industry brings the number of commercial banks in the country to 34.
And I'm sure this one will be a cool deal for your weekend because GoTV has slashed a 50% discount off its price. The digital dish, which was sold at 175 Ghana cedis, now sells at 99 Ghana cedis.
GoTV.
GoTV provides a reliable service and great selection of local channels made in Africa and for all. As part of extending its services to all, GoTV has slashed 50% off its price. The GoTV dish, which used to sell at 175 Ghana cedis, now sells at 99 Ghana cedis. According to the General Manager of GoTV Ghana Limited, Kinsley Winfred Affle, the initiative is to provide ultimate satisfaction to existing customers and new clients.
We are also coming up with some new initiatives, and it's all going to excite our subscribers. We want to move from customer satisfaction to customer experience.
He emphasized it is the responsibility of GoTV Ghana Limited to make it easier for individuals to get access to digital channels as Ghana goes digital. In Ghana, GoTV is available in 7 regions. GoTV Terrestrial provides GoTV Plus, GoTV Lite, GoTV Africa, among others. This notwithstanding, customers enjoy free packages like delivery installation and GoTV Wow, which gives credit to its customers. The launch of GoTV 50% cut-off discount in Kumasi will be held on July 1, 2017.
Right, and there's more news on our website, it's 3news.com. My name is Nanekia Mensah-Brampa. Alfred is standing by with some latest regarding issues of petroleum, energy. Yeah, Alfred, take over.
It never dies down. Nanekia, thank you for this. But lawyers for the chief executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senor Jose, has demanded a retraction and apology from the Member of Parliament for Asin Central constituency, Kennedy Japan. Within 24 hours, the maverick politician had alleged that Senor Jose attempted bribing the managing director of the bulk oil storage and transport bus company, Mr. Alfred Obengboateng, with $1 million in order that a supposed consignment of off-spec fuel sold to Movimpina Company Limited will be reversed and sold to him on his FM station, Oman FM here in Accra. In a strongly worded letter to the Member of Parliament, the lawyers of Senor Jose stated, "We emphasize that those engaged in republication of the allegations are by copy of this notice deemed duly served separately to also comply with our client's demands separately on same terms as hearing," and I quote, "the letter issued by Partners at Law Director." The letter further noted that, I quote, "We have firm instructions to, without notice to you, and upon your failure, neglect, or refusal to fully satisfy our client's demands herein, take out a suit and hold you, your said radio station, and all those carelessly and maliciously repeating the false claims with liable."
And the majority in Parliament has called for a forensic high-profile investigation into the operations of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation, BOST, as the 5 million litres of contaminated fuel saga spirals into partisan proportions. The majority is also accusing the former BOST Managing Director, Kwame Ewadako, of bagging over 22 million Ghana cedis BOST cash.
Majority in Parliament called for a probe into the activities of BOST under former MD Wadako.
There has been a lot of rot at BOST, and for that reason, we agree that we require a high-powered committee to investigate this and other related improprieties, and whether the operations are being managed in accordance with sound business principles and prudent commercial practices.
BOST, according to the majority under former MD Wadako, illegally transferred monies to the office of the president.
Since 2015, BOST, under the guise of security transfer, has transferred unexplained colossal amounts of between 2.5 to 3.5 million on bi-monthly basis to the office of the president and the chief of staff. The last amount being 3 million, which was transferred on January 3rd, 2017.
They also called for inquiry into $39 million used to construct the head office of BOST at the airport residential area.
When they call for due diligence, we are being told that it's coming out that that building could be done at $19 million. If that is true, and is to save this country 20 million from that construction, that facility alone, why not?
BOST has been in the news over 5 million litres of contaminated oil sold to a company moving Pina.
You know, this thing is going to go on for a while, and you know, this is what's going to be happening, the political back and forth that's happening as you see the majority also addressing a press conference in Parliament. The man you see behind me via Skype right now is Mr. Adam Senanu, who is the executive chair and co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Mr. Senanu, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us via Skype. Now, I mean, take out the bipartisan consensus of an investigation into this, and the partisanship sets in again. The minority addressed the press conference, the majority has responded, the workers are even also taking political lines. Anytime it happens this way, it clouds out the sensibilities of it. Common sense is thrown to the dogs, and we don't end with this investigation well enough. What are you expecting out of this with this committee that has been established?
Well, good evening, Alfred. And good evening to your viewers as well. I think for most of us, we would still want the committee to go ahead with its work, make its findings known, and allow us to be able to take an informed decision on what has transpired there. I think that it's unfortunate that we have the majority and minority making comments that will take away from the very important work that this committee has been set up to do. I don't think we should be distracted by it. I also don't think, I think it's unfortunate that this kind of political partisan position has continued over the years. We would wish that the various political parties stop this kind of thing and allow the investigations that ought to take place and the findings to be made so that concrete actions can be taken to move this country forward.
Now, when this happens, you say the NPP questioning the moral authority of the NDC to even talk about this. The NDC also goes on to accuse the NPP that, look, you've been doing this for a while. NPP says you have done even more wrong in the worst state than what you're accusing us of doing. How does the committee operate to ensure that the public is still confident in its work after their outcome, and not necessarily to also see it with the political lenses that, listen, what you're telling us is true of your investigations?
I guess that the substance of what is contained in the report is what will make the difference. There's a terms of reference. If they stick to that and provide the kind of details that enables us as citizens to look through and say, you know what, they've taken all the factors into consideration. They questioned all the people they ought to. The evidence they have considered includes the one already in the public space, so we cannot question that something is missing. That should give us some confidence. However, I think that the political parties ought to pay attention to the fact that there are a lot of neutral people who don't belong to the main political divides, whose interest in these matters make a lot of difference when it gets to elections. So these posturing of B did this and A did that will not inure to their political benefit in the long run. It is much better, more important, that they allow such committees to do their work. The findings that are made are available for all of us to consider. I think that the citizenry should not get distracted by the political parties and what they are saying. In fact, what they are doing is rather making us lose confidence in the ability of any political party to take the reins of government and just stick to what is in the public interest and what is good for all Ghanaians. And so it's not comfortable having them making all these. Most of us will not listen to that. We are waiting to get additional facts as to what exactly transpired. If it is something that has been going on, everybody from past governments to current ones ought to be held culpable and the necessary sanctions applied.
Zanano, I thank you very much for your time this evening, and I'm grateful. Adam Zanano is a co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, joining us via Skype on this matter.
News 360 Skype interview is brought to you by MTN, everywhere you go.
So live here on News 360, we have the very latest for you from the world of sports shortly. Stay with us.
Glad you're tuned in. This is the sports segment of Friday's edition of News 360. My name is Thierry Nyan. So the Black Stars will play another friendly against the United States of America in Connecticut on Saturday, 3 days after losing to Mexico in Houston. We spoke to Michael Oteje via Skype earlier today, who told us about the readiness of the Stars for the friendly.
The Black Stars lost in the game against Mexico, and looking at them in training and all of that, how do you reckon they'll take on the game against the United States of America?
No training since the game against Mexico. The team basically just arrived in batches because of a bit of bungled travel arrangements yesterday, but they will train today. I've been speaking to the coach Kwesi Appiah and the coach Kwesi Appiah and Captain Asamoah Gyan, and both of them very, very determined to make the most of the opportunities they have today. The team will be heading out for training in a few hours, and they're hoping that they can put their sort of touches required together.
The Black Stars are without Jonathan Mensah and Harris Senafo. Is that in any way going to hurt the team in the game against the United States?
Well, I think you obviously have two of the most experienced players. Afo was captain in the last game. Mensah, I thought, played really well. Good return back to the team. But now Kwesi Appiah has to go with John Boy and Jerry Akaminko, who, for my money, has not looked particularly great. I didn't think Rashid Sumaila did a great deal at right back, so that in itself creates a problem. I think the bigger issue for Kwesi Appiah is how the ability of the clubs to recall players in the middle of a friendly tour sort of undermines his efforts. He would, I imagine, not particularly be happy about that, but it is what he has got. And I think his response will be that this gives him a chance to try out new players and get a few things in place newly. So he wouldn't be particularly moaning about that, I guess.
Now, in recent times, Accra Hearts of Oak have become a clock for the Porcupine Warriors. With a win for them, will relieve them of the devastating defeat they chalked at the Accra Sports Stadium in the first round of the President's Cup. Hearts, on the other hand, will be hoping to continue from where they left off. Here is our preview to that President's Cup game.
Some rivalries are fresh, others have stood the test of time, and matchups between Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko fall in the latter. It doesn't get any better than this. This season, Hearts of Oak have beaten Kumasi Asante Kotoko twice in all their 2 meetings, and it has given them an upper hand over the Porcupine Warriors. However, with a new man in charge and a recent resurgence of the Kumasi-based team, the Porcupines will be hoping their fortunes will change on Sunday. Buoyed by their result at the Cape Coast Stadium against the Dwarfs, editor of the Kotoko Express newspaper, Jerome Oche, says they will be ready for the Super Clash on Sunday.
We are looking forward to a good match. Nothing to fear. It's no other team than Hearts of Oak, a side we've beaten a lot of times, and we are sure to beat them again.
Despite the disappointing performance to Ashanti Gold, Frank Nuttall says the result has no bearing on Sunday's game.
The preparation is that we'll recover from this game, and we'll go and prepare well for the game.
For the fans, the outcome of the game is of great importance. Bragging rights are at stake, and fans of both clubs are optimistic of winning on Sunday.
Since we are the defending champions, we need to defend the cup and maintain the cup in Kumasi. And remember, this is going to be the first time the President is going to be played in Kumasi. So we would not sit in Kumasi for them to take the cup back to Accra. No way.
I am promising House of Folk fans that this cup we're going to take it. We are going to take it in Kumasi. Because we should not make any tobo as if that they are, whether they rain or shine, believe it or not, 2017 will be Kotoko any competition that we're going to meet.
The bragging rights definitely with Accra Hearts of Oak at the moment, but Kotoko do have it in them to make sure that they get away with all 3 points. But let's do some other sports now. We go straight to tennis, and the men's draw puts Andy Murray and 4th seed Rafa Nadal of Spain in the same half as potential semi-final opponents, with Swiss 3rd seed Roger Federer and 2nd seed Novak Djokovic of Serbia together in the opposite half. Britain's Murray will begin the defense of his Wimbledon title against lucky loser Alexander Bublik on Monday. The 30-year-old Scot, who won the tournament for a second time last year, faces Kazakhstan's world number 134 on centre court. 7-time champion Roger Federer faces Ukraine's Alexander Dokopolov in his opening match. Defending champion Andy Murray pulled out of his final warm-up match before Wimbledon because of a sore hip, but was training at the All England club on Friday. Now, Novak Djokovic mid-lides work of promising Russian Daniil Medvedev in the Aegon International final on his debut in Lisbon to reach that particular final. Now, the 12-time Grand Slam champion took his second match point to win 6-4, 6-4 in just an hour and 22 minutes. Now, finally, before I leave here, let me just give you an update. In the European Under-21 tournament currently ongoing, the final is between Germany and Spain. Germany leading by a goal to nil. We'll brief you on this particular result subsequently here on TV3. My name is Thierry Nyan. Thanks for joining me.
In international news this evening, an alleged head of a kidnapping ring in Lagos, Nigeria, is to sue the Inspector General of Police, Chukwu Dumeme Onwamadike, also known as Evans, says he was unlawfully detained and is subject of a trial by the media.
For more international news, visit 3news.com. Next is the very latest from the world of entertainment. And in entertainment news this evening, the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, says it has put plans in place to ensure equitable distribution of its royalties. Newly elected chairman Rex Omar said the board has been taking care of some administrative issues from previous boards, hence the delay in meeting the press. The Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, say its delay in engaging the media was due to inconsistencies in previous administration's report. At a workshop in Accra, chairman of the newly elected board, Rex Omar, said some issues from the previous administration had to be taken care of. He explained that due to the organization's inability to hold the 2016 annual general meeting on time, distribution of the monies will be delayed until after the AGM on July 27 in Kumasi. Rex Omar also added that the new board had put plans in place to ensure that media houses adhere to the rules and regulations of the organization.
We require that radio stations that uses the music have to log how many times, what time did you play the music, how long did you play the music and all that. So when they send the returns, based on that, we impute it in the computer, and the computer itself will distribute.
Okay, so 3FM, one of Media General's outlets, is organizing the Jollof War tomorrow at the forecourt of TV3. This is to settle the rivalry between Ghana and Nigeria. Well, Senegal have also joined in. They believe that they have the best of jollofs. Really, I mean, just take a look at this.
Ghana jollof, yummy. Ghana jollof, yummy. Ghana jollof, yummy. Nigerian jollof, yeah, it is funny. Ghana jollof.
Who makes the finest jollof rice? Ghana or Nigeria? Well, the rivalry has taken forever to be settled. The latest to brag about the jollof debate are folks from Senegal. They claim jollof originated from their country. But is that really the case? Trust Ghanaians and their Niger counterparts to disagree with that. And 3FM's Jollof War, slated for July 1, will offer the grounds for the debate to be settled once and for all. Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal. Who walks away with the bragging rights? All the action will be right here at the forecourt of TV3.
Wow.
Well,
lots of jollof to try. Senegal wants to join the fight. We'll see how well they do.
I don't even know why the hustle. Ghana rice is the best.
I mean,
so join us at the forecourt of TV3 tomorrow. The Jollof War is happening. I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there as well.
And I'll cook jollof. My name is Alfred Concept.
I'm Natalie Ford. Thanks so much for your time this evening. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Remember, news at 10 will simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Have a great weekend.